Welcome to Walks with Moss. I thought I would share with you something really interesting happening at my house. On about June 17th, I noticed a bird's nest on top of the security camera in my doorway. So I investigated, took a picture, and I found out that there was an egg in that nest. So I decided to set up a second camera pointing at my security camera so I could monitor the activity. Here I am taking another picture of the nest a day or two later, and we've got 2 eggs. And then 2 or 3 days after that, we had 3 eggs. Once 3 eggs were laid, the birds that laid the eggs started sitting on the nest. And I soon learned that they are western flycatchers. I've never heard of a western flycatcher before. I've never seen one. It turns out they're hard to see. People that are avid bird watchers might go their whole life without seeing one of these because they are very shy and they live in the tops of the trees. I've been having a lot of fun watching these little birds go back and forth. For the first little bit, I think I was only seeing the mom because it's the mother bird who does the nest building and the majority of the egg incubating. But once all of the eggs had been laid, then I started seeing a bird that I think was different because the one bird that was there first, which I think is the mom, flicks her tail up and down all the time. But then another bird came that doesn't do all that tail flicking. And then finally one day, I actually got to see both of the birds together. Here's an image from the nighttime though. This was the first day I knew they were finally incubating their eggs. She had a little bit of trouble finding her way out of the nest there. So here's the view from the other camera, the second camera. It's a little bit too close to the nest. Well, actually, this is the camera that the nest is on. I turned off the camera that the nest was on because I was afraid it would upset the birds moving, but then I went ahead and turned it back on, and I like the view. But it's a little bit out of focus compared to this view of the camera that's on the camera. So I've been watching them. Their eggs take 13 to 16 days to hatch. So the first date that these eggs could possibly hatch is July 5th. I'm really looking forward to seeing them hatch and then watching the parents go back and forth feeding the babies. I've heard that western flycatcher babies are really loud and they scream all day and all night. So if that's the case, then I don't think there will be any doubt that I will know as soon as they have hatched. Here's the view from the camera that the nest is on. Just a week prior to this, I had juncos lay a nest. Well, not lay a nest. They fledged eggs. They fledged babies in my yard like a week before this. They had a nest directly in my lawn. It was crazy. I was going to hit it with a lawnmower. So I put a big fence around it to protect the nest from Bella, and they laid eggs and they raised babies and they flew away, which I thought was really cool. And then a week later, I see this nest on my security camera and I think, oh, it's more juncos. Boy, was I surprised. It's not more juncos. It's the western flycatcher. There, it had a little bit of trouble getting out. Again, this is the view from the camera that the nest is sitting on top of. I think flycatchers will reuse their nests, so when they are done for the season, I guess I'll just leave the nest in place. The camera that their nest is on actually automatically moves to track motion. I turned that feature off so the birds won't be scared away. It's just the bottom part that tracks motion, not the top part. You can see the camera's antennas on either side of the nest there. I'm kind of surprised such a shy bird would want to build a nest in my doorway. But I live alone and I don't have a cat, so I guess it's a pretty calm and safe place for the birds. There, we got to hear it chirping. See how much this one flicks its tail up and down? There's another one. unless it's the same one that hardly ever does that. And I think that might be the dad, because that one came later. I read they flick their tails up and down to show predators how healthy and alert they are, and to communicate to other flycatchers, and also to flick bugs out of the bushes. Because what they do generally is they go up high in the tree canopy and catch bugs, often in midair. So here's the first time I saw both flycatchers together. You can see the tail feathers of the one in the nest, and then the one that's sitting on the wire there. And the one in the nest is making a lot of noise. So the flycatchers are not sexually dimorphic. They look the same whether they're male or female, so there's no way of knowing which is which. But I think the one I saw later that flicks its tail west was the boy. This here. This one here. I think this is the boy. See how he's just not flicking his tail? And the mama does most of the incubating, so that would fit that that was the boy and the mama was in the nest. So stay tuned, and I'll make more videos when the eggs hatch, and we'll get to see the babies being fed, and maybe we'll get to see them fledging too. This is pretty exciting. Thanks for watching.